Hey guys, my name is Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons, and in this video you only need one scale. Yeah, seriously, there's a lot of videos on YouTube saying the only two scales you need for jazz, the one arpeggio trick, the three scales, and actually I will tell you up front, there's only one scale. That's a reference point that we need. And in this video I want to do two things. I want to show you how to build a major scale in a way that you probably haven't encountered yet. That's pretty intuitive, that's in theory but also very applied on the fretboards or grab your guitar. And secondly, from that major scale, I want to show you how to extract everything else you need, and not like 99%, I mean 100% of everything you need after that will stem from understanding the major scale correctly. So grab your guitar and off we go. Alright, first off, the major scale is going to be our reference point for everything else that's going to come in this video. If you're not familiar, major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's the major scale in the key of C. What I want to do is show you the whole step and half step structure, which is crucial in understanding. You ready? You need three letters. Whole, half. W, W, H. That's it. After you know whole, half, you can build everything in Western music since J.S. Bach. All right, let's get going on the guitar. So let's start with our C note on the second string here, on the B string. And what we need is to do a whole step on the same string. So C to D. D to E, that's another whole step, and to an F. Notice I'm doing whole, half. After I got that down, I will call this a tetrachord. Tetrachord means four notes. I have these four first notes of the major scale, and then what I do is I build another tetrachord on top of that, starting with the G note, the fifth note of the scale. So I go whole, half. So there you have the C major scale, whole, half. Whole, half. So I have one tetrachord starting on C, and I got one tetrachord starting on the fifth degree, so the G note, or call it the dominant if you want. And that's our major scale. Once again. And back down. Good. That's only one way of fingering it, and that is not absolute. It's just to show you visually that we have a whole step, whole, half, and then you could get really to see it. So number one, you can do this in any number. Fingering, scale positions work, diagonal fingerings, anything, one string at a time, that also works. They're all good, and I love this visual representation. One, and number two, see if you can experiment on your own. If you wanted to start on a different note and on a different string, if you could convince yourself that you can build yourself the notes from another scale. Say we did the D major scale. So I could start with D here and go. So whole, half, and then starting here. So I'm not starting in a position that allows me to see, obviously, that's a whole step and a half step, because there are string changes when we go through the scale, but just knowing this whole step and half step structures, it just clarifies anything. So now you're equipped to build a major scale from starting from any of our 12 notes. That's it. Now let's get to the applications of this. Okay, the first thing I want to do when we get to start playing jazz, before we do the minor 7, flat 5, diminished chords, flat 9s, sharp 9, we will just look at the three things that will encompass 80 to 90% of jazz progressions. You ready? Prepare to be underwhelmed. We need the major chord. There's a major chord somewhere. There's a minor chord as well, right? So major, little triangle, or major 7 or 6 or whatever. Then there's a minor with the little M or the minus sign, right? Major, minor, dominant. That's it. You've played blues, right? So on blues, the chords are pretty much all dominants. And those are chords with just a number. They're not major nor minor, they're kind of both. And that's it. So if I have scales I can extract from the major scale that are major, minor, and dominant, I can play 80 to 90% of progressions, improvise, arpeggios, comp, etc. All right? So the first place I want to start with you guys is actually the dominant chord. So if I have a C major 7 like this, or C major 9, what I want to do is do a C7, and my favorite like jazz voicing is this guy, right? So 9. Then I will ask myself, what do I have to do to the C major scale to get the C dominant scale? Some of you guys already know this. It's called the C mixolydian scale. So the C mixolydian is our reference point, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, with a B flat. So let's go back to our numbers. I know I have the C major scale in any position like this one, or you could do here or here. It doesn't matter. What I'm interested in seeing that the 7th degree, so the B note, is now a flat. It's a B flat. So instead of I get, now we're in business, okay? So we call this scale the C Mixolydian scale or dominant scale. So now I have the C major scale to apply on C major chords. I have the C dominant scale to apply on the dominant 7th chords, the Mixolydian sorts of chords. And we're just missing the minors. So what do I have to do to a major scale to get the minor? Not only do we need to flat the 7th, C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, I also flat the 3, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. And that's what we would call the Dorian scale. This works on the C minor 7 chord, C minor 7, C minor 9. I love those. I love these 11s, right? Or these, the so what chords. This works. So think about this. We got 3 main chord categories, and I was not even giving you BS early in the video. I said you only need 1 scale. Yeah, you need the major scale, to which you will flat the 7th. And then you need a major scale to which you will flat the 3rd and the 7th. That's your entry point into jazz, and with that vocabulary you can basically solo on anything. And now we will just get into more advanced applications. Guys, I just want to take a moment. I love that you're watching this video. Thank you very much for your support through the years. There's a free community I would like to invite you on. You can see the link in the description below. It's called the Fellowship, where for absolutely free you get to hang out with me and thousands of students, get these videos before the rest of the people, and also you can take free courses, standards videos, there's monthly challenges, so you can join here. All you need to do is really input your email, put your name in, and I will see you in there. So if you have any questions, it's super easy to reach me. Let's keep going with the video. Before we move on to anything else, just recapping quickly. C major chord of any kind, you can play the major scale. C dominant chord, C9 chord, C dominant chord of any kind, we can play the Mixolydian with a B flat. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B with a B flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last scale, if I have a C minor, C minor, C minor 11, C minor of sorts, I get to play the C Dorian scale, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B with a flat 3 and a flat 7, 3rd and 7th, remember guys? So C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat sounds like this. And this is basically all you need to know to solo on 80 to 90% of jazz progressions. For you advanced guys that are still sticking around, super simple. I want to give you some other formulas to extract scales that are also important in jazz, but not as important as major, minor, and dominant, okay? The main thing here is that there are many ways to get to that information, but I will expose you to the most straightforward way to get to the said scalar mode or concept, right? The first thing I want to start with is called C Lydian. So if you guys have ever heard a chord that sounds like this, right? Or like that. So take a major 7 and you lower the 5th, now it's a sharp 4. That's a scale that's very similar to major, but that has a sharp 4. So it would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B with an F sharp. The F sharp is the sharp 4, so the scale sounds like this. It's very floaty. It's, you know, Joe Satriani, Flying in a Blue Dream. That's the song. Or there's plenty of rock songs that use this mode as well. So that's called the Lydian mode. And Lydian is good typically for chords that are major, but that are not the 1 chord. So if I play a song in C major and I encounter another kind of major chord, such as an F major, then Lydian could be used. So that's sort of a trick of the trade. Still, see how we still just need the major scale. From the C major, I extract these other things. Next up, one more fairly important scale that is not one of the modes of C major, or it's not one of the modes of major scale, is the melodic minor scale. Yeah, you'll hear me blab about the melodic minor all the time because I love it, and it's very applicable, and it's been used since, I would say, the mid-60s to 70s in jazz improv. Harmonically, melodically, it's a pretty important scale. So probably before that, actually, but it was less common in swing and bebop, just historically. So it's a C major scale with an E flat. So you know how we took the C major and did flat 3 and flat 7 to get the Dorian? Now what if I don't do flat 7? I just do flat 3, so I get C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B, C. Interesting scale because from here, I get all these whole steps. So it's a bunch of wholes, so it's like whole, half, whole, 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 half. It's a bunch of whole steps together, so it's close to what we call the whole tone scale, right? So the formula for the scale, once again, is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you see how I like to keep things simple? Major scale, yeah, just change one note. If you know your major scale positions, if you know the cage system, if you know any other ways of addressing the major scale, you can revisit all of your scale patterns and simply learn the melodic minor scale. And there's another video relating to that, which I'll put here, which you can just learn applications of the melodic minor, your first few applications. And don't get me wrong, it's good on minor chords, but also it's good on other chords because we get to like use a mode of it to implement, which is pretty cool. Right, so far, we got a major scale, major, minor, dominant, the basics. We got the Lydian and we got the melodic minor. There's just one more I will leave you with for more advanced guys, would be the C harmonic minor scale. So now we still have a flat 3, but we also have a flat 6. Flat 6. That's a very daunting scale. So it's the same as the major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. However, I have an E flat and I have an A flat. So it means I have a flat 3 and a flat 6. You heard that right. Flat 3, flat 6, not flat 3, flat 7. Flat 3, flat 7 is Dorian. Flat 3, flat 6 is harmonic minor. And that scale is seldom used for its own sake because of that sound. It sounds like Middle Eastern, sort of, I guess, Egyptian sort of sound because of that distance. But it will be used in a different context, which I will just leave you with that thought for more advanced players. When there's a 2-5 in a minor key, so if we're doing 2-5 towards C minor instead of C major, instead of having our typical chords, which would be D minor 7, G7, C major, we get D minor 7 flat 5 to G7 flat 9 to C minor something. So C minor question mark, C minor question mark. That G7 is especially well done when I employed the harmonic minor of destination. HMD, harmonic minor of destination. So what I will do is during that G, I'll do D minor 7 flat 5 to G7 flat 9 flat 13. I'll use, during that scale, during that time, I will use C harmonic minor. It just uses that sound that's very tense. It contains a flat 9, flat 13. Not too much about that right now, but it's an application of harmonic minor. So we'd say that's a 5th mode harmonic minor. So keep your eyes on knowing what the harmonic minor is, because later down the line, you may have applications in using its 5th degree. So just to recap, when I have D minor 7 flat 5 to G7, and then I have the C minor, I'm not necessarily going to use a C harmonic minor scale during the C minor. It may be a C Dorian, maybe a C something, maybe a C major, but during the minor 2 and the 5, not the 1, 2 and the 5, I will use the harmonic minor of that destination. I know it's sometimes a hard concept to wrap your head around, but that's really applications of major scale. So that's it. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. This has been amazing. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Check out the free fellowship community in the link below so you can join and hang out with me and thousands of students. If you have any questions about this video or there's anything else you would like to come and see next, please post a comment as a question below. I read and reply to all of the comments. Well, reply maybe not always, but I read them. So I'm really attuned with what you need to learn. And that major scale is such a foundational element that I made this video because I find that people will try to skip steps in theory and try to grasp more complex scales while they don't necessarily have a grasp on this one first. So master the 2 tetrachords, start to apply this in different key, and I will see you in the next video on jazz guitar lessons. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher. See you next time. Take care. Bye.